everybody. Happy Wednesday. And welcome to Wicked Edge. It is, like I said, it's Wednesday, and we are going to have an awesome time because we have an awesome guest. His name is Dan Beamer. He is a kick-ass musician that travels all over and has played with so many people. And he is going to tell us about his band. He's going to tell us where you can find him and other projects he has going on. But really quick, before we do that, I just want to give a shout-out to a couple of our speakers, the Caring Coaching Center. If you're looking to get healthy inside and out, and you're looking for a program that fits your needs, not you have to fit the program, but the program fits you, go to www.thecaringcoachingcenter.com and look over the website. Karen Kennedy, who is CEO, President, and the Caring Coach of the Caring Coaching Center, is amazing, and she wants to give you a free 15-minute health history consultation, which, by the way, will help her design a program to specifically meet your target needs. Yes, that means if you want to help you lose weight, if you want to get healthy and just eat better and maybe just, be a little more active, just set up a program that's just for you. Not like Weight Watchers, and it's completely confidential, and it's awesome. Also, Rolling Hills Asylum, if you are in the upstate New York area, or heck, if you're out in California, Rolling Hills Asylum is actually 10 minutes away from 2 major airports. And the funny thing about Rolling Hills Asylum is it's actually in the middle of nowhere, but yet you're everywhere. So, and it has a lot of history. It was a poorhouse. It was a prison. It was an asylum. It was everything, and it has a lot of history. So if you're into the paranormal or even just history, you're going to want to go there. Go to www.rollinghillsasylum.com and email Sharon Coyle, who is psychiatrist of Rolling Hills, for your tickets today, whether it be just a history hunt, a movie, or, a Quarantine Your Captive investigation. Also, we will be there actually this Saturday, the 31st, to do a fun investigation. It's just a bunch of us getting together to do an investigation. And if you'd like to come along, we'd love to have you. So email Sharon at www.rollinghillsasylum.com and email her about this Saturday today. And join us. We'd love to have you. Also, if you're an author or a musician and you'd like your published work for your music featured on www.dtmwickedradio.com, we would love to feature you. Just email myself or Dennis at dtmwicked@yahoo.com for more information, because we would love to have you and we would love to feature you, because we are a huge advocate for authors. We're a huge advocate for musicians. So, and we already have a ton there. So, again, email us at dtmwicked@yahoo.com for more information on how you could be a featured author or musician on our Office Corner on Mayhem Stage. So without further ado, I want to get to our guest. His name is Xander Demas. He is an extraordinarily talented musician. He's played with so many people. He's been in many bands, and he has a band of his own. And I can't wait to talk to him about it, talk about what all the upcoming projects he has going on, so we can keep up to date with him. Hi, Xander.
Hello, Tiffani. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am well this evening. Thank you.
Good. It sounds like you're kind of busy.
I'm always busy. It's all good.
Well, you know what? If you're not busy, if you're not busy, that means you're bored, and if you're bored, you're causing havoc. So
yeah. Well, actually, if I'm bored, I'm dead.
Oh well. That's extreme, but okay. That's extreme, but okay. I'm glad you're not dead. We'll just go with that. So tell our listeners about yourself, where you came from, how you become a lover and a lover of music and a musician, and just start from the beginning.
Well, I actually started out, with basically listening to the MTV generation, or part of the MTV generation, growing up with that in the early '80s, and I got into the skating rock bands, Journey, Boston, Night Ranger, Van Halen, all that stuff, early on, and started on drums, wasn't terribly good at it. Wanted to play guitar instead, and that kind of came along a little bit more natural. And you always work at it. You're constantly learning stuff. You're constantly teaching your fingers how to do something different, while still maintaining, what you've been used to and whatnot. But anyway, so I've always had a love for hard rock, metal, all that kind of stuff, and I just stuck it out through the past 30 some years, as a musician with that. I took it a lot more serious about like 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer at this point. But it's kind of nice to actually start getting out there and working with some of the people I actually grew up listening to. So it's kind of cool.
That is really, really awesome. That is really awesome. Now, you say you watched MTV a lot and Journey and things like that. Are there the bands that inspired your music and inspired what instruments you wanted to learn to play and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, I would say that, for the most part, I mean, Journey and those kind of bands were definitely, like, that kind of songwriting, that vocal-oriented band songwriting was really the driving force for a lot of stuff, and, so, I mean, I love that music then, I still love it, and I've adapted myself to, to appreciate, like, many other types of music and, other genres of rock and all that kind of stuff, but, I mean, when it all comes down to it, like, I just find myself a lot more comfortable writing music like that, and, so the band I'm in, XTB, is a reflection of that type of music, it's sort of like this Journey meets, Halloween meets Rush kind of thing, so it's kind of cool. It's heavy, but it's very melodic.
Nice. Now, okay, what's the name of your band again?
It's XTB. So, yeah, X-Ray, David, Boy. Yeah, and then I also have things that we may not do in XTB,
Uh-huh. Now, what type of music does XTB play, and what songs do you play solo? What's the difference?
Well, okay, so XTB, it's kind of, no coincidence that, the letters were, they stood for originally the Xander Demas Band, but that's not what XTB is anymore. XTB is completely it's a band of 5 guys, unbelievably talented groups that I play with. I'm so happy and very blessed to be playing with such great guys. But it's mostly prog metal. It's like progressive power metal. Very really melodic and kind of like upbeat sounding, but it still has like a heavy edge to it. And then the solo stuff that I do, see, I don't really want to impose. I didn't want to impose like the instrumental stuff on XTB because we had basically switched about last year. We were doing like make some instrumentals here and there, and finally we said, let's just make this a completely different band, and I'm going to go out get some people that I can maybe jump on a small tour with, and because I had through the day I work as a software consultant, and I basically work from home. So I can kind of do my job from anywhere. If I have to get on the road anywhere, I can get out there and still pay the rent, but and then be able to actually have the flexibility to work with musicians at night and stuff, and so with XTB, it's right now we're recording an album together, like our first album, and I'm going to do a follow up to get my album Guitarcadia with which is like, what I call my solo band. So that might actually be, a whole host of different musicians, just kind of coming in, doing a solo here and there, maybe writing a song with me and stuff like that. So it's going to be a cool follow-up to Guitarcadia because I think, I've made some good connections and I think there might be some pretty cool stuff in there.
Excellent. It sounds like you have a lot going on.
I do, it's good that way, and I do have some pretty vicious ADD from time to time. So I mean, I really have to let the, I have to let the creativity, out. So I go on little binges where I'm, really sequestered and sitting there writing and doing stuff like that. So.
Well, that's not a bad thing. I mean, sometimes you have to kind of take time for yourself and not be around a lot of people to write songs to find your inspiration because distractions happen, and if you're like me, they happen often when you get your time.
Right.
So it's not hard to be distracted. Oh my goodness, too funny. So, what are you guys in the process of doing now?
Well, we are promoting the Striper. We're opening for Striper on June 12th at the Altar Bar in Pittsburgh. And we are, at that point, we are going to for the summertime, we are going to get together an EP, and we got about 3 or 4 songs that can go on it, along with maybe 2 or 3, maybe like a remix one, and we might throw a couple covers on there just to give the audience like something to listen to. So we're gonna finish that up in the summertime, and then aim to have a full length done by the end of the year. As far as my solo album goes, I'm probably gonna make a target goal for early 2015 for that. Because again, keep in mind that I started this whole thing out as a solo artist, and ended up with 4 guys in the band that we said I don't want you guys to be like a backup band, because that's like a disservice to you guys. So
right.
we said hey, this is going to be a self-contained unit, and that's everybody has an equal say. I mean, it's there's no this is my band kind of thing. I mean, nobody says that stuff. It's all equal partnership. So I mean, we want to record, we want to have a product, and and get it out there. And we're recording it on our terms, which is nice. I mean, I have a studio here in Pittsburgh, so we have the ability to do all this stuff. So it's great. Very, very lucky for that.
That is awesome. I love the fact that you include everyone in your band. You're not like, this is my band and we're gonna do, because that dissolves a lot of great bands when somebody has to be like the egotistical one and say, this is my band and this is how we're gonna do things, and what you say doesn't matter, we're gonna do what I say. And so I think that's such a great way to handle a band, that everybody is equal and everybody has a say, and you can work out your differences civilly if there are any. I think that's really great, and I think it speaks a lot for somebody's music and for the band members.
Oh yeah, I mean, I prefer it this way. I mean, I know, sometimes people say, well, aren't you out there marketing yourself, or are you marketing, the whole band, or what? I mean, no, XCP is different. I mean, just the name is coincidental. We just really couldn't come up with a catchy name, and we just said, hey, look, we're already out there as as an entity like this. I mean, let's just keep it going. Let's keep the momentum going as far as marketing tools and things like that. And then as far as I mean, nobody in the band at this point is even. It's not like they're angry or saying, no, we have to change the name, otherwise we can't continue. No, it's equal parts. It's all equal, and I feel very comfortable dealing with the guys that way. Now, like my solo band's a little bit different, because if we go out, it might be if I happen to go out and play a couple weekends in a row or something like that, I'm going to end up playing with maybe different musicians every time. So that makes the dynamic a lot different. So they're learning parts, and they can go on to other gigs and stuff. I mean, I've talked to some really great bass players and drummers that are willing to step in and do some cool stuff with me, and that's it. So that they're 2 separate entities, and it's better that way.
That's a really good one. I like that so much. Now, how do you go about choosing what songs you guys want to do for what project?
Well, the solo thing is going to be definitely a lot more hinged on instrumentals as opposed to vocal tunes. If we do any vocal tunes in the solo band, you can pretty much bank on the fact they'll probably be like cover tunes or something. Just to kind of engage the audience a little bit more, show some diversity, with us. Well, with XDB, we're pretty much all original. It's all vocal oriented. If we do something that's instrumental, it's going to be something that's going to be, in reverse. We've actually played Scarified by Racer X, as an intro to a Judas Priest song or something like that we might do. It's kind of fun because me and the keyboard player, we play the dual guitar harmonies on it, so it's it's kind of a neat effect. People like that. So it's all determined. The songs that we're writing together are the ones we play, in XTD, and then the ones that I write are usually being played with the other band.
Awesome. What is one of your favorite songs that you've written, and can people listen to it?
Well, I think, I'm really kind of happy with the way Under Dark and Sky turned out when I went and re-recorded it. I wrote the song 10 years ago. I wrote it in 2004. and it was for another band I was in, but we never really got a really efficient recording of it, and never appeared on any album. So, a few years ago when I was recording this Arcadia, I said, I want to re-record this song. I mean, it's, it'd be kind of a waste, not to do it. And so I actually got the original singer to come up and do it. The original drummer from that band came up and did it. And then, I had other current band members I was playing with do keyboards and bass respectively. And that song is actually a lot of fun to play because it's really big, it's really melodic sounding, and it's heavy, but it's just got like a really cool power metal sound to it, and the audience usually responds to it pretty well.
Very cool, very cool. And so you can't buy it to listen to it yet, right?
No, you can. Yeah, no, it's on Guitar Arcadia. Guitar Arcadia is a mostly instrumental album, but that track is one of 2 vocal tracks, and it's the only original vocal track on the album, because I also do a cover of Boys of Summer on there from Don Henley.
That is cool. That's a really good song. That's a
and that was a fun one to play. Yeah.
Now, what I do have to ask is because there are other covers out there of that song, what makes yours different from the other covers out there?
Of that song, for example, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, that one is my cover of Boys of Summer is it's metal. It's very metalized. The melodies are all still there. It's all like the structure of the song is intact, but there's a lot of like pyrotechnics and a lot of I guess you could say showing off. Definitely like a lot of interplay between the bass and guitar and stuff, and overall, it just turned out to be a really cool track. So it just has a lot of extra guitar solos in it.
So
we like to call wankery.
I like that, wankery. I think that's a word I'm going to start using. Very rock and roll, British rock and roll. I like it.
Yeah.
So you definitely gear more towards instrumental than vocal. It sounds like you're more comfortable. Is it because you're more comfortable with the instrumental than you are with the vocal, or is it just the one thing you're most passionate about in music?
No, I don't have a comfort level, beyond either one of them. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty much split down the middle. I'm just very lucky that I get the opportunity to express that. I get the opportunity to write and record an instrumental or an instrumental album if I want, and then that's what I mean. I'm very ADD where that's concerned. I have to have that dual creative outlet, because if I didn't have the ability to write vocal tunes and I was only writing instrumental, I think I would be missing out. And I think that my instrumental writing would suffer, and then vice versa. I mean, I like the fact that I can take a riff to the the guys in XTB, and we're sitting there listening, and they're like, well, I don't hear a hook. I don't hear a vocal line. And I automatically say, okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and scrap that, and maybe I'm going to try, an instrumental line instead with it. And that's the great part about it, because I'm still writing a piece of music, and I'm still writing, a piece of music that can be, it still have a great big hook to it, but it might not be just suited for a vocal tune. So I really have kind of set that in my head when I'm split down the center. Either way, so I don't have to really make a preference or a choice on that.
It sounds like you and your band members really get along very well and actually work off each other to the music's advantage and your advantage. That's so unique to hear in this day and age for bands.
Oh, yeah, we definitely do. And the greatest part about it is it can start with just a chord progression or a riff, and then we all just look at each other and we lock in and we start writing something, and then an hour later we have a song, and it's so cool because we actually have had some material that we've played live be like that, and then we when someone asks us like, hey, when did you write that song, or how did you write that one, or sometimes it's hard to answer that because somebody can say, oh, I was sitting around in front of the TV and wanking. Like wanking on the guitar, and in our case, I might have started playing something, and Jeff Anselon, our drummer, he would say, "Hey, wait, play that again," and he would start, he might come up with something. And there's a lot of bands that do it that way. When I'm writing instrumentals, I'm pretty much writing them myself, so a lot of times I'm kind of visualizing every part: keyboard, bass, drums and stuff like that. So I may or may not, have that creative input. The only time I do is, if maybe one of the guys from XTB is going to, jump in and do, maybe do a track with me, on the instrumental album and stuff. But that's all future stuff at this point because we're still working on all that.
Right. But you guys are still going out and playing, which I think is great. Do you ever come up with a song, like if you're just jamming on stage live, do you ever just come up with a song and go, we got to write that down, that's got to be something?
No, you know what, I used to, but, we're not really an XTB. Like, we're very focused, so, we're very, we kind of lock in on the audience, and it's game on after that. So there's no, messing around, you know what I mean? So we're, I've actually done that, in other bands, though, bands that were, a lot less, I should say, capable. The guys in XTB are capable of doing, pretty much anything, but it's, I've been in bands where, where people are just, they're playing music for fun. And I might have been sitting there, playing around with something. I'm like, hey, I'm going to try that at home later, or, something like that.
So when people come out to see you perform, XTB, what can they expect? What do you want your audience going home feeling like? What do you want them? What impression do you want to give them?
Well, the impression I usually want to give is that our brand of music, or our type of music, whatever you want to call it, is alive and well, and I want them to say, my goal is for them to say to us, "Holy crap! How come I never heard of you guys before?" Or something like that. And it's not just to toot our own horns, but it's like we know that sometimes metal and rock can get kind of oppressed, and it really is not. It's not mainstream. But I guess everything can be mainstream nowadays with social media and the internet and stuff. But it's not the kind of thing that we're seeking out a record deal from Columbia Records where they're going to give us a 5-album deal and throw us on tour for 10 years or something. No one's looking for that anymore. We want to write, and we want to have fun with it. We want to, we want the audience to get engaged with the music. But if they can come back and say, my first time seeing you guys, I can't believe I haven't heard of you. That's a great feeling. That's a goal.
Absolutely. What other goals do you have for your band? As your band goals, all of you guys?
Well, you'd probably have to ask all of them. So me personally, I like to get out there. I like to play. I'll play out of state and stuff, or play with some other musicians. But with XTB as a whole, I think what we'd like to do is we'd like to at least finish our first album as a band, and then see what happens then. I'm pretty sure with a bunch of family guys that that we are and stuff, normal homebodies and things like that, we'd be kind of hard pressed to pack up a van and just head out for the open road. That would be a little bit risky for all of us, But I think if the terms were right, we could probably work out some kind of a compromise. But I think we want to figure that out once we get an album done first.
Absolutely. Now, how do you juggle family with making your album?
What's that?
How do you juggle family time and writing music and working on your album? How do you juggle that?
Well, that's a challenge. I personally don't have any kids, but it's I still have fur kids and girlfriend and all that kind of stuff. So you just have to make the time to do things right. It's one of those things where you say, I'm going to set aside a couple hours here and do this and that, and that's it. It's juggling's not easy. We between me and the 4 other guys in XTB, it's a 5-way marriage. So we all, communication is the key. We just have to, we all text each other. We actually, we've taken advantage of a Google Mail, where we all have email addresses under our same domain, so we can share calendars and stuff like that. So as long as our communication's open, we're good to go.
Excellent. Communication is key in all aspects of life. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard when there's a missing link and somebody's saying, "Wait, what? What is that?"
Right, exactly.
Oh my goodness. So where are you going? Okay, so you're opening up for Striper?
Yep, on June 12th, yes.
And where is that again?
That's at the Alta Bar in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, now is that a big music venue? I mean, I know it's a bar, but there's bars around New York State that are like huge. Is that a
it's a big place. I mean, they get a lot of national acts there, and they can probably put 500 or 600 people in there, I think. It just depends. I mean, at least it seems like that. I mean, it could be more, could be less. You know, I'm not really sure, but it is a big music venue, and it is a very popular one for this area.
So that's awesome. That's like the CBGB of Pittsburgh, almost.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
That's really awesome. Now, what other things do you have coming up that people can come and see you? You know, do you have other tour dates set up? Are you setting up some? Will you be traveling to other places?
Well, we have to be really disciplined as far as, like, you know, getting out there and playing. So we have a possibility of doing something in the summertime with the Northeast Music Festival that we still have to discuss and see if we can do. But after that, I mean, October and November, we have some out-of-state shows where we're going to be over in Illinois, and we're heading back to Nebraska for an event called Skullfest. You know, we're going to be playing, you know, we played with, like, a lot of the 80s stars and stuff. But, you know, we're a new band, so we have definitely a different look and, you know, different feel, you know, to everything. You know, definitely not like hair metal, but, you know, again, more of a, you know, progressive rock sound. And but we really can't play out that much until the album's done. We want to get a product out there and say, okay, if anyone's interested, you know, call us. Pay us to come out there and we'll play, you know. There isn't a whole lot of money in music nowadays, and that's not really a secret. But, I mean, you know, as long as we can get some expenses covered and somebody, you know, feeds our faces, you know, we're good to go.
So basically a couple of dollars and maybe a barbecue would be phenomenal.
Barbecue sounds good.
Barbecue's always good. Well, I hope you guys come up to upstate New York sometime. That would be really great.
Yeah, you guys talked last time, and we talked about that. Yeah, that would be very cool. But it probably wouldn't happen until like sometime next year. And I mean, it could be me by myself with a backing band, or it could be XTV.
Hey, you never know. Now, speaking of you have also played with other established musicians while you have a music career.
Yeah, I mean, lately it's been really good. I mean, I'm doing a solo for Michelangelo Badio and Dave Reffitt. I've worked with Modern Superstar. I did a few solos on, you know, some albums here and there, like Ed Ryland's Rage of Angels. On Liberty and Justice, the Cigar Chronicles. I mean, I got to, you know, that was produced and, you know, mixed by CJ Snare, who actually did, he actually did the mixing and engineering and the mastering on my Guitarcadia CD. So I became, you know, friends with him, and, you know, got to get in there and throw a solo down on a tune. And so it's, you know, yeah, I've been working with some pretty cool musicians, and I mean, I like to keep that relationship going. I enjoy that kind of collaboration.
That's awesome. You know, and I love collaborations because when you get two different tastes but two incredibly awesome talents together, nothing but magic can usually happen. Doesn't always go that way. You and I talked about it last time too. Sometimes things do go awry, but it's amazing that people can come together and just make awesome music.
I agree.
Absolutely. So, what else do you have going on that you would like people to know about and just get the word out there?
I mean, that's what I told you about is pretty much it. I mean, if you go to xanderdemus.com, it's kind of like the portal to go to, you know, Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. And, I mean, anything that I'm doing is usually going to be out on Facebook and kind of piped into the, you know, my main website, which is kind of in dire need of an update. So don't judge too harshly. But, yeah, I had to take care of that. But that's actually the best place to find out what's going on.
Excellent. And also, at some point, you'll be able to find Xander Demus's website on our website. Go to www.dtmwickedradio.com and click on the music page. And pretty soon, once our IT guy gets his button gear, because websites are a lot of work, you'll be able to find Xander Demus on there as well. Websites are a necessary evil. They're, you know, it's interesting. I was talking to one of my friends, and never in my life did I ever think I'd be in the grocery store talking on the phone, texting, and surfing what is now the internet. all at once. And now everybody, when you have a business, the first question they ask you is, do you have a website? Or do you have retail? And we have now become a slave to technology.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely necessary at this point. I mean, it's unavoidable, and once in a while it's good to kind of quote unquote forget your phone at home. I mean, I think it's actually kind of necessary, but again, it's one of those situations where it has saved lives at the same time as taken it, which is kind of scary. But I mean, I know that my iPhone is pretty much attached to me at all times, and there's always something going off on it. My girlfriend hates it, so.
Oh, I have the same problem. Like, it's funny, you see these things on Facebook where, you put your phone in the middle of the table at a restaurant, face down, and whoever picks up their phone first has to pay the bill. I would have to pay the bill because we use my phone for business, for the studio, for everything. My phone is every phone. And I would have to pay the bill. Because my phone is constantly going off. Someone's constantly calling me, or I'm getting an email, and people are like, oh my God, don't you ever put your phone down? I'm like, technically I can't. It's not that I don't want to. It's I can't.
Right.
It's one of those, it's a mixed curse.
Oh, yeah.
But, so that's awesome. I'm so glad you finally could join us tonight. Had a little mishap with the first interview, but we got everything straightened out. I'm so glad we did. I wish we were closer because I would love to see you guys open for Striper, because Striper is one of the most legendary bands of all time. It doesn't matter if, you have a creed or not, because they're well known as a Christian band, but they are amazing.
Yeah.
And
they are. They really are. I mean, that's one of the things I used to joke about in the '80s with all my friends. Like they were saying, "Oh, I can't believe you're going to Striper. What are you, a big religious freak now?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I said, go see them. I mean, they crap all over most of these musicians that we listen to. I mean, these guys are really. I mean, there's a talent factor behind it. I mean, Michael Sweet. I mean, he's still got the chops and the voice, and he's he's from Boston. I mean, come on, Boston. I mean, taking the place of the legendary Brad Delp. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a testament. Whether it's a testament to their the Christian background or whatever they decided. I mean, whatever reason it is. I mean, Michael Sweet's got talent. He can also play guitar. The whole band. I mean, they just write. I think they write great songs. I mean, I'm actually more of a listener to the melody. A lot of times I glance over words and I just doesn't affect me at all because that's not the kind of songwriter I am. I write riffs, I write melodies, I write solos. I mean, but mostly melodies. I like to have a hook. And I think the Striper had some of the best hooks of the 80s rock and all that stuff. And that's just the way it is.
Oh, they absolutely did. They absolutely did, and they're amazing. And how awesome! I wish we were closer to Pittsburgh.
Me too. I wish you guys were closer here.
I would be so much to do a live broadcast. You guys all over our video channel right before you went on, and then during. How awesome would that be?
That would be very awesome.
Well, when you guys are ready and you guys come up to New York State, you'll have to let us know so we can come up and post you all over our television channel and post you all over everything we do and do a live broadcast and really get the word out there. That would be awesome.
That sounds awesome. That would be great.
So, well, we'll keep in touch. We're on Facebook, so we'll keep in touch. We'll keep in touch with Michael. And you sound kind of busy, so I won't keep you too much longer.
No problem at all.
You're so awesome. You're so great, and you're such a kind and gracious guest. And I appreciate everything you do, and I appreciate your music. I can't wait to hear your album. Oh, you're welcome. I can't wait to hear your album. I'm so excited about it. Can't wait. How long do you have like a bit of a time frame so we can anticipate the release of it?
Yeah, well, the XTV album, we really want to get it out by the fall. So when we're doing those out-of-state shows, we want to make sure that we have a product. And then my second instrumental album will be out. I'm going to shoot for February. I'd love to get it out before the NAMM show in California. This January. If I can actually get the material down, then yeah, there's no reason why I couldn't get it out there. It'd be kind of cool to have 2 albums released only about 2 or 3 months apart. So I mean, you'll absolutely get advanced copies of both.
Oh, awesome. I hope you guys sign them, too. You got to sign them. And, I'm so excited now. Yeah, well, I was excited before, but woohoo! And anything we can do to help you guys, you just name it and you've got it.
Thank you.
Well, you know what, I'm a singer, so I completely understand you can never have too much exposure. And, you know.
Yep, it's xanderdemus.com. Whether you spell my name the right way with an X or the wrong way with a Z, you'll get to the same place. So, and from there you'll get all of the Twitter stuff, Facebook, YouTube links, and you know, content that's just pretty much just, you know, on the site. You know, some informational stuff, and then I'm actually going to be updating all the XDB stuff. We're actually going to put a subdomain out there for XDB, and then they'll have its own page and stuff. So we're working on that.
Excellent. And on a personal note, don't forget to tag me in everything on Facebook for XDB, because, you know, we're friends. Tag me. We'll get it out there so I'll know what's going on. I have to ask this, because your name is so cool, Xander Demus. Is that your real name, or is that like a rock star made name?
No, it's real name. I mean, I mean, it's not really a secret. I mean, my first name, or my birth name, is Alexander. You know, and I just don't go by Alex. I just go by Xander. You know, I mean, I'll go by Alexander. You know, like my mom called me Alexander, my sister called me Alexander. But you know, the Xander thing stuck about 20, 25 years ago. Whenever I was, I actually dated a girl named Alex. You know, and it was just, you know, switched it for the hell of it, and it kind of stuck. You know, and it was just that was it. So it's my real name. It's just it would be like anybody else named Alexander, just going by, you know, Alex or something, or Al or whatever. You know.
That's awesome. It's such a rock and roll name. I love it when, you know, people's birthright for the rock and roll name. I love it. You know, when you listen to it, you know, you have, you know, so many people go, well, her name is really, you know, Holly Newcomer, but now she's like Joan Jett or something, which is not her real name. Holly Newcomer.
Yeah.
You know. So at this point, it's like, aw, like, I wish it was, like, their real birth name. So it's so awesome when somebody, that's their real birth name. Like, you know, sometimes you have to think the parents are thinking, like, my kid's going to be a star. We got to give him a cool name. You know, Xander, you know. So
nice.
you got to give props to the parents when they give out a cool name. Even if it's, like, complete accident and their kid falls into the entertainment business just by accident and they just have that cool name. You know, like Madonna. Yeah. That's her real name. Madonna Tiffani. Go parents. Well, I won't keep you. I won't keep you. Actually, you are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on our show. You have an open door on the Wicked Edge anytime. Next time, we should have your band members come on too with you.
Oh, absolutely. They would love that. They would totally love that.
It'll be some. And you know what? And I don't know if you guys would want to do this, but maybe we'll have you play a couple of songs live.
Yeah, we'll do that. I mean, we'll do like a feed from our studio.
That would be so awesome. That would be kick-ass. We'll have to get together on that.
Sounds good.
Excellent. All right, everybody. This is Xander Demus with the band XDB, and you're going to be able to find them on Music Mayhem page on GTM Wicked Radio, or you can go to www.xanderdemus.com for all the updates for the XDB band and Xander Demus himself. Thank you so much, Xander.
Thank you, Tiffany. Have a good night.
You too. Catch you later. Good night, everybody, and keep rocking on. Bye-bye, everybody.